Students, welcome back. Now we are going to see the motions of the scapula. In the previous session, we have seen the scapulothoracic joint and also the plane of the scapula, that is the resting position of the scapula we have seen. So, based upon the resting position of the scapula, the motions are described as whatever the motions we have already discussed in acromioclavicular joint, the same motions which are occurred in the scapulothoracic joint. So the same thing we are going to study here also, but we are going to see in the view of resting position of the scapula. Okay, so those movements are upward and downward rotation. This is the upward and downward rotation. And next one is the internal and external rotation and anterior and posterior tilting. These are the three scapular motions. Out of these three scapular motions which are occurred at the acromioclavicular joint, the most observable movement at the scapula is upward and downward rotation. So therefore, this upward and downward rotation of the scapular motion is regarded or considered as primary scapular motion, and the remaining two motions, that is internal as well as the external rotation and anterior and posterior tilting, those two movements are normally difficult to observe, so they are considered as secondary scapular motions. So this classification is done only for our purpose only, for our study purpose only, to understand or to visualize the motion, to differentiate the scapular motions. Okay, so here the scapula also has some of the translatory motions like elevation, depression and protraction and retractions. So of course these elevation and depression, protraction and retraction will come under this internal external rotation and anterior and posterior tilting. Normally the primary scapular motion and all these motions which are occurred at the scapula are the independent motions of the scapula, but because of the connections of the scapula to the clavicle at the acromioclavicular joint and indirect connection with the sternoclavicular joint, causes not to do the scapular motions independently. Okay, so because of that reason we can't see the scapular motions separately. Okay, so it is always associated with movements at the acromioclavicular joint and the sternoclavicular joint. So we can't see the isolated movements of the scapular motions. So the scapular motions is always associated with the movements of sternoclavicular joint as well as the acromioclavicular joint. Okay, and next one is the scapular motions on the thorax. Scapular motions which are occurring on the thorax always occur in combinations, such as simultaneous upward rotation, as well as the external rotation, and posterior tilting, external rotation and the posterior tilting causes when the arm is abducted. When arm is abducted, all these three movements are taking place. What are the movements? At the scapula, when arm is abducted, the scapular movements on the thorax causes combination of movements such as upward rotation, external rotation and posterior tilting will occur. So these are the things, combination of motions occurs at the scapula. Thank you.